Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing just a little chat with me Q&A video. I had a couple of you guys submit some questions on my Instagram, and I also just went through some of the YouTube comments to see what you guys wanted to know about. I wanted to kind of just like veer off of pregnancy a bit. I will be answering some pregnancy related questions just because that's like the hot topic of like what you guys want to know, which makes sense because I'm pregnant and I'm gonna have my baby anytime. But I kind of also just wanted to like answer some not pregnancy related questions because I feel like some of my content recently has just been just about pregnancy because that's just where I'm at right now in life. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. I am sipping on some raspberry leaf tea. I am trying to naturally induce labor because I am officially 5 days past my due date. So I don't really know when baby girl plans to come out or how much longer she plans to cook in there. So I'm doing natural things like red raspberry leaf tea because it's supposed to be a uterine toner. The more concentrated you have of the tea, the more likely it could like cause contractions. So it's totally safe, especially if you're past your due date. So that's what I'm going to be sipping on. But we're going to go ahead and get started with the questions. All right, so the very first question that was really common and was popping up a lot was in regards to house remodeling, what we're remodeling, and if I intend to ever share content in regards to the remodels. So the answer is yes. I really want to share with you guys all of the fun home updates that we've been doing. I'm just trying really hard to get out of the mentality that like you need to have everything done before you can share, if that makes sense, because like our kitchen for the most part is basically done, but there's still like random holes and like patches of wall and stuff that need to get fixed. And so I'm just trying to like work through being okay with not having everything done to be able to share with you guys what we have done. House remodeling is going great. We've been doing so much to the house since we moved in. We've moved around so many walls, added closets, added a whole new bedroom and bathroom, like guest suite in our carport area. We added a deck outside in our backyard. So there's just a lot of things, lots of painting, new flooring, new kitchen. Like everything is basically new. We basically flipped the house when we bought it, really changed the layout to kind of give it a more open feel and obviously make it look newer because our house is from the 1960s. So that is the update on that. I promise I will have a video up at some point where I share updates and can kind of give you guys a tour of like the before and after, even if we're still not completely done. So stay tuned for that. Okay, the next question was, have I gotten into any fun hobbies recently? Because I am on maternity leave, and how is the whole maternity leave thing working? So I am on maternity leave. Thankfully, my job allows for that. Not a lot of jobs do. For me, I have what they call a nesting period. So 2 weeks prior to my due date, I was able to take off from work, and I was technically not getting paid, but because I had vacation time accumulated from all the time that I had been working there, I was able to apply that towards like those 2 weeks. And then following that, I don't get paid until I notify them that the baby's been born. And once that happens, my maternity leave kicks in, and then I get 6 weeks paid. And then following that, I get 12 weeks unpaid before I have to return to work. So I'm really thankful that my job has provided that because, like I said, not a lot of jobs do. And it honestly can get a little overwhelming and stressful, like financially, on top of how overwhelming I feel it already is to like be able to afford everything that you feel you might need for the baby. And my husband is not getting any type of paid leave. He is taking some time off, however, and his job is totally okay with him doing so. He's just been really intentional about like picking up extra shifts, and we're just trying to be intentional about saving up lots of money during this time so that we have kind of like a good cushion to go off of while we're both not working. So that's just a little suggestion if you guys are curious on how to go about finances in regards to that. But with that, because I am off of work, I do have a lot more free time, and it has been very relaxing and very great. Something that I had really been looking forward to, but it's been really hard also just because I feel like I haven't had like time off like this in a really long time. I've always had like a shift to go to where I work like 8 hours, come back home, and then spend time with my husband and kind of just do some things on the side. So now that I have all this like extra time throughout the day, especially when Grayson is at work, I'm trying to figure out ways to allow myself to like relax and just like enjoy a nice movie or go out and have a nice cup of coffee, to kind of just allow myself that opportunity to just relax and enjoy my time before the baby does get here, but also trying to figure out how to not feel guilty about like having so much time off and enjoying it, but also like being intentional and still being productive. So I'm really trying to get more into like content creating with my Instagram and my YouTube channel, and also just trying to figure out like new hobbies. So in regards to that question, I'm trying to get back into like hand lettering and like the creative route. I want to get back into reading, but I'm having a really hard time doing that because I get so easily distracted. But I guess one of the things that I'm really into right now is just like looking into like Airbnbs and like home decor and that kind of stuff. Occasionally go to the gym. I'm doing a lot of walking. So that's kind of the gist of what I do with my free time. And I have like a couple little projects that I'm working on here and there that I'm not necessarily ready to share, but I am really excited to eventually share with you guys. So that's kind of what's been taking up my time. And then, yeah, just waiting for the baby to get here. What has been the hardest part about being pregnant? So this question is kind of interesting because, so as far as symptoms go, like each trimester you obviously experience like a pretty different set of symptoms just because of like where your hormone levels are and like how big your belly is and so on and so forth. So I obviously experienced like definitely a lot of nausea and exhaustion during my first trimester. Really lacked a lot of motivation to want to do anything. During my second trimester, that was definitely my favorite. I don't really know. I didn't really necessarily have like anything really going on in the second trimester. It was so nice. And then during the third trimester, honestly, the hardest part has just been trying to find a way to stay comfortable because the bump is so big, like it's really hard to be able to sleep comfortably. By the time I do find a position that is comfortable, I have to pee, and then I get up and like I just have to pee so much throughout the night. I have not had a night where I've slept throughout the whole night since like my first trimester. So it's been months. And obviously it's not going to get any easier because by the time I'm not pregnant anymore, we will have a newborn. So symptom wise, I feel like I thankfully haven't had like really intense symptoms. I know that some people are not as fortunate and like they really get symptoms to the point where like they really can't get out of bed or like just have to be hospitalized, etc. But I also feel like a lot of it, if you really just allow yourself to get into a good mentality and in a good perspective of like, okay, like this is hard, but like you can get through it and it could be worse, or so on and so forth. I don't really know if that makes sense, but I feel like I did have a lot of days where like I did not enjoy being pregnant at all, and they were definitely challenging, but I think a lot of it just had to do with putting myself in a mentality and a perspective that like this is not gonna be what it's like all the time, and like at the end of the day I get to meet like my baby, you know. Also, as you enter a new trimester, you kind of forget about what you experienced in the previous trimester. That being said, I would have to say that the hardest part about pregnancy, I kind of shared a little bit about this on my Instagram, but I had a lot of people like reach out saying that like this is so relatable, can you go a little more in depth, so on and so forth. So I thought I'd just go ahead and do that. I think that the hardest part has been trying to find a balance between like making sure that my friends and family who are super excited feel included in the process and in the journey of my pregnancy and post baby, but also finding a balance between allowing myself to set up the necessary boundaries that I feel like are going to be needed for myself as an individual, for myself and my marriage, for my husband, for my baby, postpartum, all that stuff. I feel like people get super excited for you when you tell them that you're pregnant, and it is such a blessing to have that kind of reaction from friends and family, because you obviously want to have their support, you want them to be excited for you, you want to know that they're there for you, and though you know that their intentions are good, I feel like sometimes people get so excited that they don't realize that they're inviting themselves into literally everything, and that they kind of feel almost this entitlement to like need to know the ins and outs of this entire journey. And I feel like that has been the hardest part, because I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want anyone to feel bad. I don't want anyone to not feel included. I want them to take part in this journey with me, because it's really exciting and it's really new for a lot of us. And so I want to be able to share in those experiences, but I think it would be great for people who are really excited, for like couples who are expecting, to really give the couple the space to choose how much they want to share and what they want to share. Like, it's not talked about a lot. I had so many like moms who were expecting or are like postpartum reach out to me, because I did a little like questionnaire on my Instagram where I kind of like quickly answered this question, and they all shared about how hard they felt it was to set up boundaries, because when they do, people get so easily offended, people feel like they're getting excluded, people feel the need to like guilt trip and shame you for the choices that you're making. And I feel like it's already really hard enough to like navigate through this like whole new journey of parenthood, and like trying to figure out what you think is going to be best for you, especially if you've never like gone through the pregnancy, if you've never gone through labor, if you've never gone through postpartum, and how you think you might be hormonally or emotionally during that recovery time. I just think it'd be great for people to be a little more available, in the sense of like, hey, I'm super excited for you, like how can I offer you help? Not, hey, I'm super excited for you, tell me about this, tell me about this, tell me about this, make sure I'm here for this, make sure I'm here for this. It doesn't come from a place of like wanting to exclude people, but I think it's always nice to kind of like have things that you get to keep for just you and your spouse. There's a certain amount of time, like postpartum or within your pregnancy, or just things about this experience that you want to be able to just treasure with just your spouse. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of rambling now, so I'm just gonna like kind of cut it there. But I guess that would probably have to be the hardest part of pregnancy, is just figuring out a balance between like setting up boundaries and honestly just figuring out what those boundaries are. And like, obviously everything is a learning process, and you know, some of the boundaries that we set up now we might not do with our future kids, or we might like change our mind or like be even more set on them. It's just one of those things that like parents need to figure out. Next question. If you want me to elaborate more, or if you guys can relate to this, comment down below, because I am curious, because it's just like a common thing that I'm seeing with everyone that I talk to about this. So next question is, what is the baby's name? Are you going to share before she's born or after she's born? So we are pretty much set on a name. I am excited to share it, but we will be waiting until she is born to share it. There's no like big like aha moment like as to why we're choosing to wait. We kind of just like the idea of waiting to see until she's born to know for sure if like the name fits, if they got the gender right. We're pretty much set on the name. It's honestly been the only name we've liked since we've done all of the name searching. And again, it's not one of those things to like want to exclude people. We just kind of like want to be able to have small little things that we can have just as a couple to like talk about and be excited about without having to include everyone. And every couple is different. Whatever you choose to do, like, good for you. It's not a big deal. Like, it may not be a big deal for you. It's not a huge deal for us, but however you go about it, I feel like it'd just be great if people respected people's decisions. Sometimes it's just fun to like have things that you get to be excited about with just your spouse. You tend to get a lot of like unwanted opinions, and so I don't necessarily want to be getting like opinions of whether you like the name or not, because you're not the one thinking of the name, and it's not your child who you're naming, and it's really, really hard to think of a name in the first place. So once like a couple finds one that they like, it's kind of just a little frustrating to get unwanted opinions. And also, like, again, what if I don't end up using this name on this baby, but like I like the name enough to want to use it for another baby? I don't necessarily want to be blurting out that name to give people ideas. I will say though, if a couple does choose to like not voice what the name is, it would be really, really great if people would stop asking. Again, it's not about being mean, but like it's just kind of annoying and puts the couple in like an uncomfortable position, because we have to constantly be saying no, you know? Okay, and the next question is, what kind of content do you hope to share on YouTube and Instagram post baby? So I've had a really hard time for a while to kind of figure out like what my niche is. I wouldn't necessarily say that like I have something set in stone, because I really like a lot of different things. I love to do just like vlogs, like join me a day in my life. I really love to do health and fitness related content. And now that we have a home and we're gonna have a baby, I'm really looking forward to doing like home decor and home remodeling content. And then obviously just like baby content, you know, where like I bring you along on like 24 hours with a newborn, or like my experience like of what works best and baby products that I liked, and all these different things that like I can't necessarily pinpoint it to one thing. I guess if I like had to, I'd probably say I'd still be doing definitely health and fitness, and then like kind of like motherhood, I guess is kind of the vibe I'm going for. But I do intend to still be posting at least one YouTube video a day, and then obviously staying active on my other social accounts, on my TikTok and on my Instagram, even once we do have the baby. And I think even more so once I have the baby, I'm just going to be posting a ton of pictures of her. So yeah, I am really excited. If there's anything in particular that you guys are wanting to see or see more of, like by all means comment down below. I'm open to really just about anything. So like I said, nothing really set in stone, but I will be active. The very last question that I'm going to be answering is, how do you know what you'll need for the baby? Everything is so expensive. Please help. So I actually got a lot of this question just like worded kind of differently. I really did try to like answer more questions that weren't baby or pregnancy, but like that's just kind of where we're at right now. So I have been very, very blessed and fortunate to have friends and family who have gifted me so many things. A lot of the stuff that is in her nursery was gifted, furniture wise. A lot of just like random things like bottles, bibs, clothes, like even my breast pump, like everything has been gifted to me. And I am so, so thankful for the people who have been willing and generous to do that, because it is so expensive and it is so overwhelming. I think it's very hard to really figure out what you need, because for one, especially if you're a first time mom, because there's so much stuff out there. Like there's so many different brands for one product. So it's really hard to know like what kind of diapers you like, what kind of swaddles will work, what kind of bottles. Like there's so many different brands, and every brand is pushing at you that like their product is the best, their product is the one that's going to work for you and your baby. But the reality is, like, until you have your baby and you're doing life with your baby, you're really not going to know what works and what doesn't. Obviously, like if you have a baby shower, which I suggest you do because it's fun, you get to spend time with your friends and family, but also you get to get gifts. So create a baby registry. I used like a third-party website where you get to link from multiple different sites. So I registered to Target, to Walmart, Amazon, Etsy, like all these different places, and it all gets tracked on one link. So that was really, really nice. If you have people who are going to be generous enough to give you gifts, like, by all means accept them, because it really saves you a ton of money. I would just try your best to like really do your research, but like not fall into the trap that like you need everything. For one mom, this one product is like a must-have, but then for this other mom, that same product is like, why did I spend my money on that? That was such a waste of money kind of thing, you know? So I would just say to try and be really minimalistic about what you want and what you decide to purchase. Obviously, you're gonna need baby clothes, you're gonna need lots and lots of diapers and wipes, some type of like bassinet or a little crib, especially when they're newborns, to have close to you. Small things like car seat, diaper bag, just things along those lines that are kind of just like the essentials. I will link everything down below of like what I personally have. I can't attest to whether I like the product 100% or not, because I have yet to actually use it. So I will be doing a video like in the upcoming months once I have some time with the baby to kind of figure out what I liked and what worked and what didn't. So if you guys are curious, stay tuned for that. You know, you really don't need a whole bunch, from what I've been told, to like take care of a newborn, especially when they're so little. Just like to not have a ton of things kind of gives you the opportunity to kind of figure out what really works best for you and your baby, and then you can kind of go from there and really figure out what you really need to actually invest in. And also just like, it's totally fine and it makes a lot of sense to get a lot of things secondhand. The baby outgrows a lot of the clothes and a lot of the things, so it's like, why spend a ton of money on one particular thing? I hope that kind of answers that question. I can't really tell you what products are good and what aren't. Again, I'll have everything linked down below, but I'll have to wait until I kind of like experience it for myself to kind of further answer this question. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there, just because I feel like I kind of rambled and was talking for a little bit too long. Even my camera turned off on me because I was running out of space. So if you guys like this video, make sure and give it a thumbs up if you did, and comment down below what other kind of content you guys want to see, or if you have any other questions. I will see you guys next week, and hopefully by then I'll have a baby. All right, see you later.